We're going to get right into the show. As always, we start with a lowdown where we talk all things Apple. I've got a lot of stories for Apple, so we're probably just going to do these more quick hits. Normally we get kind of long winded, but since
We
there's a
like to
lot of stuff,
talk.
right. So since a lot of these, there was a lot of stories that I found this week, so we're gonna keep it kind of short. So the first one I want to start with, since we have a resident Apple head who's also a woman, I just wanted to get your thoughts on this. The title I put up here was Apple Watch Knows When You're Pregnant. So the story goes, somebody on Reddit posted a story about her Apple Watch, how her Apple Watch helped her realize that she was pregnant. So the way it works is her heart rate. Well, the way the Apple Watch works is, among other things, it constantly kind of measures your resting heart rate. So according to this story, her heart rate rests, according to Apple Watch, rests around 57 beats per minute. But for the past 2 weeks or so, her Apple Watch was reading a 72 beats per minute as a resting heart rate. She thought that was weird, did some research, and she found out or read that an elevated heart rate can occur in the early stages of pregnancy. So she, all right, well, wait a minute. So she took a pregnancy test, comes out it was in fact positive. So I don't know if this was a bug or a feature for the Apple Watch, but amongst all the other things it can do, now it can tell whether or not you're pregnant. So this kind of, to me, it kind of folds all into the whole, health tracking. Falls all into all the things we found out or things that were discovered earlier this year about Roe v. Wade and overturning of abortion and states and all these other things, and especially as it relates to data, right? If
Hmm.
we are, specifically women are tracking their periods through these apps, through these devices, can that information be used against them, right? So
Right.
this is another one of those stories to where, in my mind, it kind of helped, but is that the type of help that a woman specifically wants in this new age? So that's what I wanted to get your thoughts on.
So I think this was an unexpected, I'll call it perk of the heart rate monitoring, because it does constantly check so that it can get a baseline. So that, say if your heart rate automatically shoots up, it's like, oh my God, are you having a heart attack? Or is there something, is there a more serious life threatening type of issue? I think for this particular woman in this particular case, what she's found is an unexpected perk of this particular feature of the Apple Watch. We know they talked about the new cycle tracking feature, which was a really big deal that was going to help women to be able to track irregularities in their cycle, give them data points sooner, because we know that in many of the states where Roe v. Wade, the federal protection was dropped, a lot of these states, particularly red states, have these heartbeat bills where it's apparently that's not even the case, where they're saying, at 6 weeks you have a fetus has a heartbeat. That's not even true. And I was like, whoa, blow my mind on that. But aside from that, I think it is, like I said, an unintended benefit, so that if that's something that they can say, hey, be
The
on the
faster, the
lookout
better.
for this, you can
Yeah.
possibly, I mean, she found this out within 2 weeks. So
Mm-hmm.
if she did have an unexpected pregnancy and she was in one of these red states and she did not want to carry the pregnancy to term, she would still be in that window. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this point, any way that, I mean, not just women, anybody can have more knowledge about their body, they can advocate for themselves more and do what's best for them as it relates to their body. So I think it's an unintended perk.
Yeah, absolutely. So she does say, I'll move on to the next story. She does say, I'm freaking out as I'm not ready for another baby, but this allows me time, which is what you mentioned earlier, to consider my options and think about what I'm going to do. I know this may be an offbeat use for the watch, but if you're a woman of child rearing age and your watch shows a heart rate increase, it might be worth it to test. Basically, going to get tested if your heartbeat is higher than what your Apple Watch normally says.
And you typically, like, I hadn't even seen this part of the article, but most women, honestly, that's where our thought process is. It's like, there it's better to know as early as possible because typically without this you wouldn't know. I mean, you don't
Right.
typically know until you're after 6 weeks because
Right.
it's missed cycles and you're on your regular, cycle time frame, and by the time something seems amiss, um it's quote unquote too late for some of these states that have these
Yep.
heartbeat
Yep.
laws.
Yep. All right. So another thing, moving on to the next story, um another story as it relates to, I'm gonna do these out of order. Another thing
Okay.
as it relates to Apple Watch. It seems to be what some users are reporting that the Apple Watch mic can become persistently unresponsive after an unspecified amount of time, causing apps that rely on the mic to throw up errors and stop working. According to Apple, says it's aware of the bug affecting users, specifically saying customers could face problems with Siri and not being able to hear them, recording voice memos, and conducting phone calls. A measurement suspended message may also appear in the Noise app. So just wanted to one, find out if you experiencing issues with your Apple Watch, because I use mine all the time, specifically using the mic to send out Siri commands. I haven't experienced any of these issues, but I wanted to check with you and see if you experiencing anything.
I haven't experienced any of these issues, and I usually have my AirPods in, so I don't normally use the mic function so much. But
Mm-hmm.
I have noticed it is a little bit more sensitive. So, like if I'm on a call for work, the little Siri icon will pop up on my watch because it hears my voice. But I haven't had any issues with it.
All right. So for those who are wondering, this is only affecting the Apple Watch 8 and the Apple Watch Ultra microphone, so the newer Apple Watches. All right. So going back up, unfortunately, we normally report about stories to where the iPhone or the Apple Watch has saved somebody. But in this case, that's not the case. But it shows that the iPhone crash detection works and is already going to work. Based on this story that I'm reading, five men in a Honda died in a car crash about 2 o'clock in the morning. There was a sixth person, a 24-year-old woman, who died later at the hospital where she arrived in critical condition. Now, according to the story, the only way she was able to make it to the hospital where she later died she died due to her issues or injuries was because somebody in the car had an iPhone with crash detection turned on. And then, based on how the iPhone detects there's been a crash or an accident, it triggered its countdown. Nobody responded or nobody canceled the countdown. So,
Hmm.
the iPhone, I don't know if it's attendance, I don't know if somebody actually physically actually made the call on their behalf, but the iPhone's crash detection contacted authorities. They rushed out to the scene. They found out what happened. They were able to take this lady to the hospital. Of course, like I mentioned, she later succumbed to her injuries. But the fact that the crash detection works and it was actually able to get authorities to this crash site in enough time to at least try to save lives. So just wanted to put that out there that even though it didn't turn out in a positive, it seems like it's working.
Yeah, and the thing is, had this phone not been in there and the five guys died fairly immediately, had they not had this device in the phone, how long would it have taken for someone to find them? Because again,
Right.
this was at 2 something in the morning. Probably
Right.
weren't that many people on the road. It sounds like this was a really significant accident. So it could have been like
Mm-hmm.
off road, something where nobody would have been able to see them very easily. And the fact they were able to pinpoint their location like that and get there that fast, it shows that the app does what it's supposed to do. In this case, like you said, it's unfortunate they all passed away, but the app did what it was supposed to do.
Right, right. So I don't want to see any more videos of people trying to fake, or, people are weird. They got
So weird.
videos all on YouTube, people trying to wreck cars to get the crash detection to fire off. Again, the internet, you know what it
Why?
is.
Are you people insane?
They're trying to get them views. Everybody's trying to get the views. So,
It's the things people do to get famous on the internet.
yeah,
Jesus,
buddy.
Mary and Joseph.
Well, you don't have to do that because now we know the crash detection works.
We
So
know it
quit it.
works. Stop, please.
All right, so the next story I got up, it seems like there's an AirPods Pro 2 battery bug. Again, I wanted to find out if you are experiencing any of these issues, but with this bug, something unusual happens in the Find My app whenever the AirPods Pro 2 earbuds are charging or the case battery drops too low. A modification pops up urging the user to replace the battery soon, even though the accessory is brand new. According to Apple, or just according to sources in general, the notification is likely mislabeled and should be there telling owners to recharge the accessory, lending it to even more confusion. The notification doesn't make it immediately clear if it's an AirPods Pro 2, if it's the AirPods Pros 2 that the battery is referring to. So basically what happens is, to sum this up, if you open the Find My app, whenever the AirPods Pro 2 earbuds are in the charging case and just the batteries happen to drop down low, like say for instance, under 10%, whatever the case may be, and you just happen to be in the Find My app automatically tells the user these batteries need to be replaced, which is weird because you can't even
You
place
can replace
batteries.
batteries.
Right, right, right.
Somebody forgot to change the text in the code.
Exactly. That's basically what it sounds like. But I just wanted to put that out there because, I don't want nobody to freak out, if they get
Because
this
there are no
message.
batteries to replace, friends.
Exactly, exactly. So just wanted to put that out there. If you seen this or willing to try it out and let us know, hit us up on social. All right. So the last story I got in the lowdown is Matter smart home standard officially launches with iOS 16.1 Matter support. So for those who don't know, Matter is supposed to standardize smart home technology. So whether I am a Apple HomeKit user, I should be able to buy a product off the shelf, regardless of if it's specified for Apple HomeKit or Google Home or Amazon. I think Amazon has the is Google Nest. Is it Google
Yeah,
Nest?
it's Nest. Yep.
Yeah, okay. And then Amazon Echo. So they have their own smart home devices and things of that nature. So on top of that, no matter which product you buy, if it supports Matter, it should be interoperable with all of your devices. So you don't have to just buy HomeKit specifically devices, or you just don't have to buy Google. You can go out and buy the best thing that works for you. And if it's Matter, then it's supported. So everybody's kind of been waiting around to kind of start with this whole support. Now that Apple has decided to offer Matter support with iOS 16.1, this is the unofficial official start for more products, more companies to actually support Matter. So I just thought that was interesting that everybody's kind of waiting around. All right, when is Apple going to jump into the ring? Oh, they jumped into the ring with 16.1. All right, let's go. So just to let y'all know right now, 16.1 is in beta. I'm pretty sure it's going to come out very soon, but when it does, you will be able to then have more selection, more options. Specifically as a HomeKit owner, there seems to be not a lot as Amazon, Google, some of these other ones. So it'll be nice to be able to get some more products and not have to worry about whether they're going to work or not.
Whether they're going to be compatible or not. Yeah. And I
Right.
think, like you said, people have been waiting for this for a while. And, with 16.1, that's supposed to be rolling out. I'm hoping that Ventura rolls out around the same time. I was on Twitter and someone was saying, hey, you don't even need to get a webcam anymore. Your iPhone can be your webcam. And I was like, true, but it's only for Ventura. And Ventura hasn't been released. The guy who was, doing the video, he has the beta. So it's
Right.
not, I was like, it's not widely available yet. I'm excited for it to come because I'm looking forward to Center Stage and some of the other things as well. But kind of pump your brakes. It's coming. So I'm really hoping that when they do an event maybe this month. I don't know.
Well,
Um,
there's been rumors that Apple won't do an official event. They'll just release some new products, but we'll have
yeah.
to pay attention. But you bring up a good point, especially since I've been having all these problems with my funky camera. If if Mac OS Ventura, which is Mac OS 13, I think,
Hmm.
when Mac OS Ventura comes out, and that compatibility compatibility works and it works well, I may be on eBay listing this camera if I can consistently use my iPhone
Phone.
as a webcam.
Well, the camera continuity is it's
That's
the
what it's
default
called.
is for it to
Cam,
turned
yeah.
on.
Okay.
I was like, because when he was going through it, I was like, oh, I forgot that was coming. And then when I went and checked the settings, the default was for it to have it on. And he did show it, you just plug it in and it comes up is a new like pop-up that says use iPhone as webcam. You click a
Okay.
click a click, and then bam, it's there. You get your brand new shiny iPhone 14 Pro's camera to be your webcam.
Which is probably which will is probably one of the best cameras on the market that don't
Yeah.
cost, that's not, that you can also use as a phone and a
Yeah.
mobile wallet and a social media portal and the email triage, all these
Yeah.
other things. So
Right.
might as well.